there was a neurosurgeon back in the day, and I'm drawing a blank on his name because I'm gonna have somebody from there on here one of these days soon, and he pretty much broke down what a seizure is, and a lot of his research just kind of got buried, and he broke down in his opinion, and he's an award-winning neurosurgeon too, and the entire medical field has ignored everything he said about this. But what he was saying is basically, and he didn't even speak about the ketogenic diet in those days, but what he would say, based on all of his research that I've read, is that the ketogenic diet is keeping down inflammation in the brain. There's some other brain injury or something is inflamed, and that is causing lack of oxygenated blood to the brain. And the ketogenic diet, so ketones, particularly acetone, which the body produces, is a huge anti-inflammatory. And so I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Absorbine Junior. No?
I've heard of it.
All right, we keep it around at all times. It was my dad kind of raised us on it. So you get bit by a black widow or a spider or something, put it on, no problem. It goes away. It instantly cuts down the inflammation. And my dad and I said, well, what is in there? It's the nastiest smell in the world. And he says that's acetone. And so we always have it on hand, especially living here in Florida, because somebody's always getting bit by something. And I'm wondering if, Jim, in your research, that you've heard anything about seizures being due to oxygenated blood to the brain, or the benefits of the ketogenic diet being anti-inflammatory for the brain. Has anyone been speaking about this in this regard?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many scientific meetings I've been at. There've been a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I got into this, and I can follow the science right up through at the beginning, when they introduce themselves and say where they work.
Okay.
And then
All right.
it's beyond me. And I mean, I literally don't understand what it could be in a foreign language, but I know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I always get kind of excited. But when they get into brain mechanisms and all that kind of stuff, other than the broadest strokes, it's over my head.
Okay. Well, that's fine. What you're doing is necessary. It's necessary because the first time I've ever involved with the seizure with my son, it was whatever the doctor said. I was like, okay, whatever they said, we do. And so we were faithful. We were do whatever they said. And then after a while, kind of starting to get back and going, it's not working. After something doesn't work for so long, and you start to see a few other things, that's when you start, researching a little bit on the side and calling your friends and going, something's not right. I can't put my finger on it. And as you get going a little further, somewhere along the lines, you come across the ketogenic diet, which is what I did. And I hope that, this is, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, part of what really turned it around for us is they recommend brain surgery for Charlie. And we blindly went along with it. And they said it would be a 45-minute procedure. And so like 3 hours into the 45-minute procedure, somebody came up to the waiting room where Nancy and I were waiting to see how things had worked out. And they said, oh, sorry, he was in a lot of pain, so we had to put him on morphine. What? Why was he morphine? Are you crazy? So then an hour or two later, when we got to see him in the recovery room, he was all red and swollen because of his reaction to morphine. He was kind of moaning and groaning, and there's a big, scar in the back of his head. And within about a day, he started having seizures again. And we just blindly.
You think because of the morphine that he started having again?
Because the surgery had no benefit.
Yeah, the procedure didn't work.
Yeah, procedure didn't work. Yeah. It was, and now that I've paid, we blindly just went along with the doctor. And now that I've learned more about it, where they did surgery was in a part of the brain where seizures don't emanate from anyway. So the odds of that surgery working were nil. But still, we set up, and that was part of our learning curve, and that was just a hideous experience.
How old was he
And
when
they
he had that
still to
surgery?
this day.
He was
Like,
18 months.
18
He was
months.
18
Oh
months.
wow.
That's most of the age when my son
And
was
how
going
old
through his
was
stuff.
he when the seizure started? You said already, but I
Before
forgot.
his first birthday.
Just so how long until you finally did the keto diet from
It
when he
was just
started?
about a year.
Okay.
It was about a year. And in that year, and we really, because I had some connections because I was in the movie business. And so we really got to take Charlie to some real world experts. I mean, we took him to the head of pediatric neurology, not just at UCLA, who's the doctor you saw interviewed, but Seattle Children's, Mass Children's, a couple of them, but the real top-notch people in the field, and none of them mentioned diet to us.
Wow.
Zero.
And can I ask, Jeff, how long was it for David?
It was about a year.
About a year?
Yeah, he was on it 18 months, but we were well aware of the ketogenic diet by a year. It takes about that long of research, I guess, until you see everything else is not working and you see the damage is being done. And I don't know. I mean, maybe other people find it faster, but it just seems to be somehow awareness needs to be bigger. And let me just say, for everyone watching this, if anyone makes it to the end, it's charliefoundation.org, right?
Correct.
Okay. And the movie, all right, so here's what I said about the movie is difficult. If I didn't have a son that have gone through it, and I've seen 100 seizures a day, I'd probably say it was hard. But for me, it was refreshing. Somebody else went through this. It was so obvious. And the scene of her carrying him out of the hospital, that was my daily routine, is watching the doors. How am I going to get my kid out of here? So that is actually probably something that everyone has gone through. After you're there for a month and a half of no sleep and seizures, and everyone down the hall are having seizures, you start getting a little stir crazy. You start looking for the door. That movie is extremely refreshing for parents who have gone through it. Hey, if you like these kind of conversations and you'd like to see more, click like and subscribe to our channel. And if you're at the computer and you'd like to hear the whole podcast, click right here.